Hey everybody, it's Cousin Shannon from Iowa. I'm getting ready to make a not so traditional Thanksgiving dinner for us today because Russ and Noah both work on Thanksgiving, and so we're gonna do it on Sunday. So I'm gonna make some stuffed chicken breasts, some broccoli cheese casserole, green bean casserole, and some sweet potatoes with onions and peppers for the sides. And come on along with me and I'll show you how I do it. I've got my cast iron skillet heating up. I'm just gonna throw some butter in here and let it melt. This is gonna be the broccoli, rice, and cheese casserole. Sometimes I do this as a main dish. I'll brown some chicken breasts, diced chicken breasts, and throw them in there so it makes a whole meal out of it. So we've got the butter going. I diced up some onion. When I do the main dish, I'll brown the chicken breast, put the onion and broccoli in there, and do it all in the same pan, even bake it in the skillet. Throw some broccoli in here. I'm using fresh. Usually I use frozen, but I couldn't find any chopped broccoli, so I went ahead and bought some of that comes in a package. In the produce department that's fresh. And of course I add the normal things. I'm going to add some black pepper, some garlic, and then I cooked 2 cups of rice in the rice cooker, and in the rice I added Italian seasoning, black pepper, garlic, and some chicken bouillon. I'll give it a little salty. Some pretty big chunks. I'm gonna chop those up. And you're just getting the veggies soft. A little closer so you can see it. This was something that my Aunt Dixie used to make every year, and I never would try it when I was younger because I didn't think I liked broccoli. So I would never try it. And then one year after she had passed, I decided to make this for my family. And I sure wish I would have tried it a lot when I was younger. Because it's become one of our family favorites. And I'm sure I'm not making it like my grandma or my Aunt Dixie because I've kind of made it my own recipe, but it's still really good. And you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350. Add a little bit more butter. Butter makes everything better. It's a little bit dry. You could use olive oil or whatever you want. Today I'm saying it's Thanksgiving. Calories don't count. Alright. So we got the broccoli done. I have found actually cream of mushroom and chicken. It is so good, and you get both of those, the added chicken flavor and the mushroom. I think my grandma's and Aunt Dixie's had just cream mushroom. So you use whatever you like. You could do cream of chicken. When I'm making the chicken entree with this, I use cream of chicken, but since I've discovered this, I've been using it in everything. Cream of soup just makes things taste good. And then to that, you add a soup can of milk. Turn my heat off because the veggies are done. Put that in there. And I could just bake it in the oven in this, but because I've got to have room for other stuff in the oven, I'm going to put it in a 9 by 13 pan. And like I said, if I was making this a main dish, I would just bake it all in here. Now, it also says, in most recipes, it says an 8-ounce jar of Cheese Whiz. I get this 16-ounce jar, and I just put as much in there as I want. So, it's probably a little more than 8 ounces. And then I'll just save the rest, and the little bit that's left, and put it in some celery. Make cheese celery sticks. Just gonna mix all that together. That cheesy goodness. And then another thing I do a little differently, I think you use the smaller container of French's onions. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some in the mix, and I'm also going to top it at the end with some Not a lot in it, but just enough to put some crunch inside. Get some of that goodness going through it. I'm going to spray my 9x13 pan. I use olive oil cooking spray. And then I'm going to add the rice that I made in the rice cooker. Got to break it up a little bit. And like I said, I cooked this with some Italian seasoning, pepper, and garlic. And also some chicken bouillon while it was cooking. Just put that in the rice cooker with it. Just gives a little more flavor to the rice. You want to season everything that you're putting in the dish. So you got to season the rice too. Then I'm just gonna put this in the pan and bake it for about 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna pull it out and top it with some of the fried onions. So I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven the first time. This is how I make the green bean casserole. I don't know if it's right, I don't really have a recipe, but I know Noah likes green beans, so I'm gonna put this up. It's basically like the broccoli casserole, except it's green beans and no rice. So I've got 2 cans of, these are French style because that's what I had in the pantry, so that's what we're using. Usually you'd probably use the just cut green beans, but these are those French style, really skinny cut. Put that in there, and then I'm gonna put about a half can of milk. There's no cheese in this either, so that's a little different. And then I did get a small can of the French's onions for this. You put some of them in there. I'm going to put garlic. I'm going to put garlic, onion, and black pepper seasoning on here. Some onion powder. Mix all that up, and the same as the broccoli casserole, I'm going to bake it for about 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna top it with some more French's onions. Put a little bit of seasoning salt in there. I don't think it needs a whole lot. There we go. Minutes. So we'll show you what that looks like when I bring it out to put the onions on. This is the last side dish that I'm going to actually cook. I'm going to have some fresh veggies on a veggie tray, but what I did was chop up some sweet potatoes, onions, and red peppers, put garlic, onion powder, and black pepper and some seasoned salt on it. And I drizzled it with olive oil and mixed it up. I'm going to stick it in the oven at 350 like everything else and just leave it in there until everything else is done, so they'll be good and roasted. My kids don't like the marshmallow sweet potatoes, so I'm compromising because I love the sweet potatoes and making it savory instead of sweet. So I'll see you on the other side. So this is what the broccoli, rice, and cheese looks like when you take it out of the oven after 30 minutes. And then I'm just going to cover it with the onions. Spread those out. And then I'm going to stick it back in the oven for about 5 minutes. Then I'll do the same thing with the green bean casserole. For my stuffed chicken breasts, I'm gonna take some cream cheese that I softened a little bit in the microwave, some Parmesan cheese, some mozzarella, garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, black pepper, I'm going to chop up some green onions. Time to take the green beans out and see how they're doing. This is what I'm gonna stuff inside the chicken breasts before I brown them. I trimmed the chicken breasts and I took all the fat and stuff off of them that I wanted to. And then I'm gonna take the mixture. I made a slit in the inside of the chicken breast. Just gonna take it and take about a quarter of the stuff that I mixed up, the cream cheese. Stuff it in there. And I'm gonna find some toothpicks and I'm gonna run a toothpick down the side to keep it in there. And I'm gonna do this with each one of them and then I'm gonna brown them on each side, so I'll show you that in just a second. So I've stuffed the chicken breasts. I've had this pan heating up. I'm gonna put some butter on there. Everything you put in here is going to become part of the sauce when we're done. Some olive oil. You're going to season the chicken breast with some salt, pepper, garlic, and Italian seasoning. And these are the breasts that I've already stuffed. Set them down in there. Cooking, I'm going to stir the root vegetable, the sweet potatoes. It's been roasting. I've moved it to the top shelf since I've taken the broccoli casserole and the green bean casserole out of the oven. And they're going to continue roasting until I get the chicken done. You're going to cook these about 6 minutes aside. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to season the other side. And you want to get a golden brown color on each side. So I've browned both sides of the chicken, and then I put them in the oven while I make the sauce. And the sauce is pretty simple. Got some chicken broth. That's to get all those good bits of stuff off the bottom of the pan. That's all flavor there. Spoon. I'm going to add a little bit of butter in there. Looks like I got all the bits up off the bottom. I'm going to add a little bit more chicken stock. Some garlic in here. A little bit more chicken stock. Add some heavy cream. To this, I'm going to add some fresh basil. And some sun-dried tomatoes. And the last thing we're going to add shredded Parmesan cheese. A little bit too much tomato. Here it comes. This is the green bean casserole. The roasted sweet potatoes. And our stuffed chicken breasts. Here you go. Happy Thanksgiving.